Hey everybody, it's your boy String Bean, Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance. Today we're going to do a Dakota Fire Pit Smoker. We're going to do the build today. Got some meat we want to smoke. Stick around and stay with me. Let's get started. First rule of thumb, before you strike the fire, braid the beard. We're out here at my buddy's off-grid cabin. Up here's where I do a lot of my cooking videos for the simplicity of that wonderful dry spot. This is just one of the cabins that was offered to me to stay off-grid. But this is where the bear hangs out. I think it got 2 of his hogs. I think it got 2. I know it got 1, but he hangs out up here. I got to be vigilant. Nevertheless, let's talk about the smoker. It's laid out. It's that simple. Just a few tools will get the job done. If you got paracord, trap wire, cordage of any kind, that'll help you along the way. Something to dig with, something to cut with. And you can build something that will allow you to smoke meat and keep it for months. Stick around, let's get this party started. Step 1 complete. Dig your fire pit. We're going to do an addition to this video. It's called In Place Of. I'm going to tell you what I'm using for a stationary smoker compared to in place of a mobile smoker. Okay? Follow along with me now. We got the pit done. Let's get the trench dug. Got a trench to dig. As my dad would so graciously say, break time. I could hear him now. Nevertheless, contrary to popular belief, there's nothing new in survival bushcraft. Now I could add my take to something, or add my twist to something, or maybe change the name to a method, but it's still nothing new. You see, me and Lance Jones built one of these before, but for another reason, for the heat aspect of it. Very low smoke, and it's pretty much self-feeding when it comes to the fire. But the truth is, the natives used this long before we got here. They used it to smoke hides. They used this method to preserve meats. They use this very method to heat teepees. Very low smoke. Depending on where you draft your intake and your outlet in your trench, that will determine how much smoke and how much heat you have, in what direction it travels. But when we built one out of all natural material. Bark and rock and mud. This is going to be semi-stationary, kind of permanent for future use. So keep in mind, we're going to do in place of when it comes to a material that I use. Let's get back to work. Here comes the sun. Now keep in mind, we're talking about in place of. If I was out in the field, this would be a little different. I've got some discarded galvanized pipe. if I was out in the field, in place of that pipe, I would use tree bark, rocks, or mud to be able to carry that smoke from that fire pit we have here up to the smoker, which we're about to build. Now remember, this is stationary. This is okay. If I was out in the field and didn't want to leave a footprint, I would construct this, and after use, now, if you make one with tree bark or rock and mud as a cement, a natural cement, it'll last for years. Just ask the moonshiners, they know. But we're going to continue to use this in future use, and I'm going to show you what I'm building for the smoker, and I'll tell you what would be in place of. Regulate it here, build your fire, regulate it, smoker. Let's go cut some poles. Now that I have my poles, let's build us a smoker. Stay with me just a moment. Quick tip, that is roughly 12 inches. Measure it and see. You'll have a little bit of distance between the thumbs, but that is roughly 12 inches. Roughly. Stay with me. Just a quick tip. Exchange your bootlaces, your shoelaces, your drawstrings and your hoodies, anything with a drawstring. Trade that drawstring out with paracord. Paracord is multi-purpose. Fish with it, build a fire with it, multi-purpose. But in place of paracord, in hemp cordage or natural cordage, I'm using trap wire to lash these together. And there it is, smoker's rack, smoker's tent. Now keep in mind, we're talking about in place of, thinking of survival, preserving food for the long haul. You're capturing smoke, not flame, not heat. You're going to do whatever it takes to survive. You may have to scrounge up pine boughs, tree bark, maybe use your tent, your favorite sleeping bag or your sleeping blanket, whatever it takes to capture that smoke to preserve that meat. Now, if I want to smoke hides, regardless of what kind of hide it is, fur on or fur off, I can easily do it with that right there. Hang my furs around that smoker's tent or smoker's teepee, smoker's rack, whatever you want to call it, and smoke hides. Now, having said all that, if you're preserving meat, my advice to you is to use hickory, oak, or apple woods. Stay away from walnut. It leaves a bad aftertaste, a chemical taste in your mouth, in your food. Cherry does the same thing when it's burnt. It's got a chemical smell to it. So, preserve your meat with good wood, if at all possible. But do whatever you have to do to survive. But that is the smoker's rack. In place of, I use trap wire. I could use paracord, hemp rope, anything that I had readily available to lash this together. Nice and sturdy. Set it over your outlet of your Dakota Fire Pit Smoker and regulate the heat and smoke. We're not done yet. Just a little farther. There you have it. So far, so good. I think I'll scoot that pipe out just a little bit, maybe dig it back just a little bit. You got to regulate it right there. That smoke. So, we shall see. Remember now, you're not getting flame, you're getting smoke. Shroud that in whatever you can if you're preserving meat for survival situations. Whatever you have available, readily available, quickly, because it takes a while to smoke a rattler. It takes a while to smoke a squirrel or a rabbit. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's talk just a moment about food preservation. Food preservation is the preserving of consumables for sustenance. You are not replacing or removing proteins and nutrients, you are preserving them in a process. Everything that you can consume can be preserved. Dairies, breads, and meats especially. Either through salt, dehydration, or canning. Everything. Now the natives knew this process long before we got here. But now, my people use this process when they came from Ireland and Scotland and settled in Appalachia. Now, if you're going to do this process for meats, don't be expecting a fall-off-the-bone steak. This is for the long haul, winter months. The nomadic people, my people. They would scrape the meat or cut the meat the best they could to season stews and beans. That was the whole purpose of this process. It's a tried and true method, been used for centuries upon centuries. And it works. You just got to know the process. Stay with me, children. We're not done yet. We're smoking. There it is. That's what you want to see. Now in place of, put a big rock right there. Direct that smoke, look at that. Direct that smoke right up through that shroud covered smoke rack. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, buddy. All you gotta do is direct it. See how it's pumping now? Now in place of that barrel bottom, I would use a big rock if I was out in nature and had no other alternative. Look at that. Smoke is smoke, smoke. You see, not because I'm an Appalachian. Not by any means. But people in Appalachia know how to do things. That's how I learned from those people. You know, born knowing these things, you have to learn them. Grandparents, great-grandparents, and their grandparents knew how to take something as nigh as nothing and make something. And their methods work. They're long gone. They're still working today. Speaks for itself. But this is your boy String Bean, aka Beardo McBeardy, out here enjoying this beautiful day. Now listen up, children. We're going to smoke some meat on that smoker. Rabbit, squirrel, rattler, deer. I don't know. You'll have to tune in and find out this week, if at all possible. Appreciate you watching. Hey, I'll catch you right out there on that ridgeline somewhere out through there. Go farther, stay longer. Thanks for watching.